Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to explain what pickling salt is and whether or not you need to use it. So pickling salt is one of those things about canning that makes people think that canning is complicated or difficult, or that you require expensive, special, weird ingredients that are hard to get. And it really adds to this idea that it is unachievable or difficult or something that you should learn how to do because it's got weird, different salt, right? Um, Pickling salt is regular salt with no additives. Additives is a word that has a fairly negative connotation, and it shouldn't necessarily have a negative connotation. Some additives aren't awesome, but in some cases, additives just mean that in salt's case, some additives prevent salt from caking, and some additives are really important for health, like iodine. Um, so pickling salt is absent of a anti-caking agent, and it's absent of iodine. So in some sense, it's more pure, but that's not why it's preferred for pickling. It's preferred for pickling or making pickles in canning because it yields a clear brine. And there's a couple of reasons that you would prefer a clear brine when canning. And the most important is so that you can see if your pickles have molded or changed color or something is not right inside the jar. If your brine was cloudy or just not crystal clear, the way a pickling salt brine would be, you might have a more difficult time looking into the jar and seeing if something inside your jar was wrong. Another reason you might want to use pickling salt, which is, I think, less important, would be like if you were submitting your jar of pickles to the county fair and you wanted to have the prettiest, clearest brine, best looking pickles. That's when another reason why you would use pickling salt, because it yields a really pretty preserve. It's very clear, a very good looking preserve. Now that's not to say that regular old Morton salt in the blue container that's plain with the additives in it, that doesn't mean it's going to be like super opaque. It's just not going to be that crystal clear, like the cover of a cookbook clear that you're looking for. So the official recommendation by the USDA, which is what I go by and that's what I share with my followers, is that you use pickling salt, because that way you can see what your pickles look like. And that is certainly worth considering. I don't personally consider cosmetics to be that important, and I'm not giving gifts of pickles, and I'm not trying to get a blue ribbon at the county fair. So to me, just being aware of what your pickles look like in the very, very unlikely incidents that something was wrong with your pickles, would be the reason you would seek out pickling salt. Because I'm an experienced canner and I'm only canning for myself and for my family, I frequently will use regular old salt with the additives. But if I see pickling salt and it's on sale, I certainly will use it, and I'll just save it for canning pickles. I have a great post on my blog, Do You Need to Use Pickling Salt, that explains all this in more detail. But I also have a post called What Happens If You Forget the Lemon Juice, which also talks about being able to see inside your jar, which is another important ingredient, an acidifying agent, lemon juice, where you get to look inside a jar and see like, oh, what's happened here? And if you, for example, had forgotten to use pickling salt and forgotten lemon juice, okay, one, you need to really look more closely at your recipe, but let's say you did, you had a cloudy brine and you thought maybe you forgot the lemon juice in this recipe, it'd be very hard to tell what was going on. Do you know what I'm saying? So if you used pickling salt, that'd be a guaranteed more clear brine, But then if you had made some other mistake or some other thing happened, you'd have a better chance of identifying the error, is the advantage of using pickling salt. So hopefully that clarifies for you the importance of pickling salt and why it's makes seeing inside your jars easier. It's better for clarity. So I could go on and on about the clear puns, but anyway, if you have any questions about pickling salt, fire away, and hopefully you guys can check out the blog post on thedomesticwildflower.com. I'm Jenny, and happy canning.